Hello, and welcome to the Lounge Pokemon Draft League Season 1 Battle Breakdown, a series where we briefly dissect and discuss the battles from each week, featuring and pointing out any highlights, upsets, or major plays during these games. This is Kyle from Team Motif, and today we'll be watching our first Week 2 matchup between Eric and the first battle appearance of Ben. Ben had a bye last week, so this will be his first match. Eric has done some changes to his team from the previous week. He's taken out his Honchkrow and Magnezone, and he's added in Cloyster and Crabominable. Interesting thing about Crabominable is he's actually in the lowest tier, from the PU tier. Maybe some disrespect, maybe an interesting strategy. We'll see. We saw Eric on the far side with the Trick Room team in Week 1, and Wally Locomotive, that is Ben, on this near side. Looks to be a little bit of a stall team. A lot of ground types, a lot of tanks. But anyway, in this battle there were some insane plays, crazy moments, very wacky sets, some crazy reads. Let's get right into it. I'm excited for this one. So to start, we have a different lead from last week from Eric. Instead of going with the Trick Room Hattering, we get Gengar versus the Orthworm right here. Gengar is Eric's fastest on his team by far, and is a speedster. There it is, switching back to the Hatterene, and a Shed Tail, giving a substitute to the Copperajah. Now this is a really good matchup for Ben right here. Steel type, gonna be able to do a lot to Hatterene. I'm guessing Hatterene just wants to set up Trick Room here. Maybe it runs Mystical Fire to deal with the Steel type, but not the best position for Eric. Iron Head super effective, but the Berry able to tank that hit beautifully, and able to set up Trick Room here. Switching into the Iron Hands, but look at this! Ben is prepared and he has Curse, lowering his speed in Trick Room. Now we saw last week, Eric's Iron Hands is very slow, so we'll see. These are two very slow Pokemon, and we'll see with the speed drop if Copperajah is able to go first in Trick Room. But there we go. It does go first, but the insane play to Terrasilize the Flying type, start Focus Punch, avoid the Earthquake, and now Focus Punch is going to take out the substitute. Hugely unnecessary by Eric, by the way. It was so unnecessary, you'll figure out why, but just the guts to go for that Focus Punch Terra Flying, absolutely insane, and it only gets crazier from here. Iron Head, gonna deal about half, because it doesn't resist anymore, the flying type. But it's able to get the flinch. Gonna be the last turn coming up in Trick Room. And the flinch was huge. Iron Head again, 11%. But here's why the Focus Punch was so ballsy. It just says Drain Punch. Look how much that did. Even with the boost in defense, that did 63%. And it's gonna heal Eric's Iron Hands up pretty high. Now, Trick Room is going to be ending here. I have no idea why he went for Focus Punch, but I'm glad he did because it was funny. Eric has told me that he's not here to win mainly, he's here to put on a show. And that he's definitely doing. Trick Room going to end, and here it could be a little bit of a misplay from Ben. It doesn't affect things too much, but he goes for Protect here. I'm guessing to try to get some more health from leftovers. But the last turn, the Drain Punch did 63%, and only if it was a super high roll to 63, and maybe he's hoping for a really low roll in the next one, all that's going to do is going to give Eric's Iron Hands a little bit more leftover health here. I know let's get into the really minuscule details. We're talking about 6% here. But the Drain Punch is going to do it. Heal him back. Now he's at 85 instead of 79. That might come back to bite Ben, but we'll see. Going into the Mudsdale here, against the Flying type Iron Hands. Into the Cloyster, and here we go. Rock Slide, 56%, a lot of damage, but the Weakness Policy! Weakness Policy Cloyster. Weakness Policy is a very scary item, especially on a fast sweeper, such as Cloyster. Cloyster does have high defense, too. Oh, but there we go, the Shell Smash, and now Ben is in a very scary situation here. He has a lot of slow Pokemon here, and now we have a very scary ×3 attack, ×3 special attack, 2 times speed cloister, shell smash, weakness policy. This thing could potentially destroy anything it touches. And here we go, rock blast 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Gonna absolutely obliterate this Slowking with the skill link ability. Very satisfying with the multi hits. That's just gonna one hit the Slowking. Here we go, Mudsdale. Terastallizing to fighting, so that way the Icicle Spear does not make super effective damage. First hit is the critical hit. This is huge. Ben needed all the health he can get to try to take this thing down. Stamina is gonna raise his defense each time. Is he gonna live, taking less damage each time? This move breaks Showdown with stamina, and he's able to live on 2%, and then he goes for the low kick to take it out. A lot of things to unpack there. First, Terastallizing to the fighting type. Really good use of the Terastallization there. If he was still ground, that 2 times damage was easily taken out, even with the stamina boost. That critical hit on the first one was really big. The first one is probably the best one to get crit on, actually, because it would have gone through the defense boost anyway. But next thing too, using low kick. Who runs low kick on Mudsdale here? Usually you see body press to take advantage of his high defense, but it did get the job done to take out the lower defense Cloister. Huge shifts there. Switching out, preserving the 2% on the Mudsdale. Not sure if I 100% agree with that, but he does take almost 0.5% on his Greedent here. Switching out to the Hatterene. Earthquake, 2 times gonna take that out, and all that Hatterene did was set up Trick Room. Super Fang, gonna deal half health, and now gets to a point where we have 2 stall masters against each other. Eric with a special set here looks like. Chilling Water, gonna lower the attack on the Greedent. That is big because Greedent is a physical attacker, as we see. Super Fang again getting that set damage, and now Trick Room is back up. Yawn, Drowsy, Facade. Interesting choice there. You usually see more powerful normal type attacks. Maybe that was his most powerful on this moveset. But 70 damage, no special condition, and not gonna quite take out the Slowking. One more will, but Slowking will be able to go first, and Greedent is Drowsy here. 3 turns left in the Trick Room, and here comes the PU Crabominable and Clodsire from Ben here. Now, this is actually a good matchup for Eric here. Ice type is going to be good against ground. Gonna protect to try to stall out the Trick Room. Ice Hammer coming out from the Crabominable. Going to Orthworm, and he's going to tank that beautifully. Dropping his own speed, and that is all we'll see from Crabominable. Ironhead going to deal a ton of damage. Gengar is pretty frail, Glass Cannon, but Gengar will be able to move first. A little advantage from Eric here. Energy Ball, interesting choice there. I don't know if he was expecting a switch to Greedent or maybe back to Clodsire, but even with the resisted damage, Orthworm is gonna get taken out by the Energy Ball. In comes the Clodsire, and back to the Flying Iron Hands, and again, the Flying type, immune to the Ground type Earthquake. We saw it quite a bit with last battle with Tristan versus Josh. Josh with a lot of good predictions, sending in his Flying types against Earthquakes, and here again, Flying type avoiding the Ground types. And I just like to imagine seeing this like in the anime, how Iron Hands would terastallize and get off the ground, he like flap his arms to fly. I really like to see that. Anyway, going back out, double switch here, and we're back to Super Fang the Slowking, and now Eric reveals Future Sight. We have all 4 moves revealed on the Slowbro: Chilling Water, Trick Room, Yawn, and Future Sight. A little bit of a stally Trick Room set there. Facade, not quite gonna do it. Trick Room is back up, and I think this could be a major point in this battle. Maybe even before the battle started in the team building phase. But if he would have used something stronger than Facade, I'm not sure what normal moves Greedent gets. That probably would have been something to look up beforehand. But if he would have used something more powerful, he could have been able to take out the Slowking, which proves to be a thorn in his side for the majority of this battle. Going out of the Slowking into the Gengar, and again, a double switch here, but that would have been such a good switch if not for the Future Sight. In Trick Room, the Mudsdale would have been able to go first, and maybe get an Earthquake off, but the Future Sight able to take out the Mudsdale. Could have been a sack as well. Back to this matchup here. Clodsire will move first. Back to the Iron Hands, and once again, the story of this battle, switching in the Flying type into the Ground type move, burning a Trick Room turn as well though. Back to the Slowbro, and getting first layer of Toxic Spikes up. We haven't seen him use Toxic Spikes quite yet. Does have the Gengar in the back, Eric does, so he can swap that in to make those go away. Protecting, but Eric reading this, getting the Future Sight up. Trick Room is no more, but Future Sight will go through Protect, and it is a strong move on a strong special Pokemon. 2 layers of Toxic Spikes up, and this turn right here was probably the most questionable out of all of Ben's turns. So he protects, even though he's drowsy, protects himself from the Water type attack, but he takes the Future Sight attack, dealing quite a bit of damage there, and now he's asleep. So you have a half health Clodsire asleep against a Slowking, who can just start setting up Trick Room, set up Future Sight, hit you with Chilling Water, and pretty much do anything. Luckily for Ben, he only gets to 1 turn sleep and is able to recover back to the full health, but Chilling Water going to get that guaranteed attack lower. And now it's just a bit of a stall off here. Drowsy, Future Sight, back to low health, recovering, Chilling Water, but now we're back to stage 1 again with even lower attack. Sleep again, there's a Future Sight. Waking up for the Earthquake, but again, that's doing nothing. Chilling Water. But right here, turn 40, I wrote it down because it's insane. This is probably one of the most unnecessary, crazy reads ever. So a little bit of Showdown's a little bit glitchy right now. There's 2 layers of Toxic Spikes up right now, but they're both in. So if he uses Toxic Spikes again, nothing will happen. Switching into the Gengar, taking up both Toxic Spikes, and Ben uses Toxic Spikes to get the first layer back on there. What? He predicted switching into the Gengar and gets the second layer of Toxic Spikes up? It's insane. But he takes the Future Sight and loses Pokemon anyway. And here comes the final laugh of this battle. Gengar uses Trick, gives Greedent Choice Specs, so that's why the Energy Ball is doing so much before. Greedent using Earthquake, taking out the Gengar, but he gets Cursed Body. It was over anyway, because he was locked into Earthquake, and he couldn't touch this guy anyway. But now it's disabled, and he's forced to struggle with the Cursed Body Choice Specs. Focus Punch, critical hit on the struggle, gonna make him flinch, but the recoil damage is gonna do him in. Eric not revealing the rest of his set, and Struggle able to take it out. And Eric improves his record to 2-0, utilizing his strategies very well. Now this was a lot to unpack here. We had Focus Punch on Iron Hands. We had Iron Hands Flying Terra type, switching into a lot of ground type moves. We had Gengar using Trick on Choice Specs. We had a PU Pokemon make an appearance. We had a Weakness Policy Shell Smash. We had a Mudsdale live on 2 HP to tank a 3x attack. Icicle Spear. Just so much. Curse in Trick Room. Just a lot of crazy sets there. But in the end, Eric was able to take out Ben's team. Maybe Ben might be regretting not running something more powerful of a normal move on Greedent. Maybe Facade is the strongest one he can get, I'm not sure. But it was really big that the Slowking was able to live a lot of those attacks. But anyway, this video is getting a little bit long. I don't want to keep you guys here too long. But a really exciting battle. A lot of fun sets, a lot of fun moments. And I'm excited to see what Eric brings next time. We'll see if Ben can bounce back in his next week. And actually, no, I wish him no luck because he's against me. I hope he loses, and I hope he has a terrible time next week so I can get my first win. Goodbye.